Imagine standing in a pharmacy in a foreign city.
Oh, that's always stressful.
Right. Your head is just absolutely pounding. You have some bizarre allergy acting up, and the person behind the counter is just staring at you,
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah, and in that specific moment, knowing how to ask, like, where is the library, is completely useless to you.
Exactly. You don't need a tourist phrase book. You need a highly specific, practical blueprint for how to actually survive and function without, falling apart.
Right.
And today, for our deep dive, we are looking at a document that claims to be exactly that.
Yeah, we're diving into a piece of source material that looks incredibly unassuming at first glance, honestly.
Toy.
It's basically a transcript from day 11 of a 30-day English-speaking challenge called English Decoded.
Just day 11.
Just day 11. And on paper, it's really just a list of 99 sentences broken down across 9 distinct topics.
But it's 99 sentences designed to be a masterclass in not just a language, but really in human interaction.
Yeah, it goes deep.
So our mission today is to unpack how this curriculum teaches the literal physical mechanics of acquiring a new skill, and also what the specific selection of these phrases reveals about the milestones we hit in daily life.
The progression of it all is just fascinating.
It really is. It starts with your baseline transactions, buying coffee, mailing a letter, and climbs all the way up to navigating complex societal issues and even romantic relationships.
Yeah, and the physical mechanics of how this is taught are just as deliberate as the vocabulary itself.
Which is wild to think about.
Right, because the core technique driving this Day 11 challenge is a method the instructors call shadowing.
Shadowing.
Yeah. The directions are super uncompromising. The learner is instructed to listen to a native speaker say a sentence and then immediately repeat it out loud.
Like mirroring everything.
Exactly, mirroring the rhythm, the cadence, the pronunciation as closely as physically possible.
And there's this phrase they use in the source material that really stands out to me. The instructors explicitly state, your mouth needs the practice just as much as your ears do.
I love that quote.
It completely shifts the perspective, right?
Right.
Like on what learning a language actually entails. It forces you to realize that speaking isn't just a cognitive exercise where you sit in a silent room memorizing grammar charts.
Oh, definitely not.
It's a physiological athletic process.
Yeah, because you are dealing with literal muscle memory. Your tongue, your jaw, your vocal cords, your diaphragm. I mean, they've spent your entire life moving in very specific, deeply ingrained patterns from your native language.
Right.
So when you learn a new language, you're asking those muscles to contort into completely unfamiliar shapes.
It's so unnatural at first.
Completely. The neuromuscular connections literally have to be built from scratch.
I always compare it to trying to learn the guitar by only reading sheet music.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
Like, you can study the theory of a C chord for a decade. You can know exactly where the fingers are supposed to go. But until you actually press your flesh against those steel strings over and over.
Until you get the calluses.
Exactly. Until you build up those physical calluses on your fingertips, you aren't playing music. The knowledge has to travel from your brain down into the physical mechanics of your body.
And that bridging of the gap between theoretical knowledge and physical execution, well, it's notoriously difficult for adult learners.
Oh, for sure. We hate looking dumb.
We really do.
Yeah.
Adults have a very low tolerance for feeling foolish. So when we try to make these new sounds and our mouths just don't cooperate, this huge psychological barrier shoots up.
What do linguists call that again?
The affective filter.
The affective filter, right?
Yeah, it's basically this emotional wall of anxiety and self-consciousness that completely shuts down your brain's ability to absorb new information.
Which brings up a really major question I had about the design of this Day 11 challenge.
Okay, what's that?
Well, throwing 99 sentences at a learner in one single sitting sentences, ranging from navigating a post office to analyzing personal relationships, doesn't that just seem like a recipe for cognitive overload?
Oh, it sounds totally overwhelming.
Right. I would imagine a learner staring at that list and feeling their affective filter just slam shut immediately. Like, I'm trying to figure out how they expect someone to absorb this without just short-circuiting and quitting the whole program?
So the curriculum designers actually anticipated that exact panic.
Really?
Yeah, the source material reveals this very strategic psychological safety net that they built into the instructions. Before the learner even begins, the instructors emphasize that, and this is a quote, simple, consistent practice day after day, that's really the whole secret.
Ah, so they aren't demanding perfection right away.
Exactly. They aren't demanding perfection at all. They are demanding physical repetition.
So they're actively telling the learner that struggling is supposed to happen.
Yeah, they literally tell them it's completely fine to come back and shadow the material again later, reminding them that repetition is literally how the method works.
Wow. Normalizing that struggle is just a brilliant piece of instructional design.
It really is, because by telling the learner, you are going to stumble, and that is part of the plan, they lower that effective filter.
It takes the pressure off.
Completely. You don't carry the burden of needing to memorize 99 sentences today. You only carry the responsibility of making your mouth perform the physical repetition.
And once the pressure of instant mastery is removed, your brain actually becomes much more receptive to the vocabulary.
Exactly.
Okay, so the physical foundation is set. You're building the calluses on your fingers by touching the string, so to speak. But that brings us to the actual content of the challenge.
The fun part.
Right. The transition from how you learn to what you learn first. The curriculum moves immediately into what we might call the transactional baseline.
Yeah. The first 4 topics out of the 9 are at the post office, cafes, driving, and the pharmacy.
Which are the fundamental tools for just securing autonomy in the physical world.
And the curation of the sentences in these categories tells a very specific story about modern survival.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like in the cafes and post office sections, you aren't practicing generic phrases like, I would like a coffee, or where is the mail?
No, the sentences are highly specific to the complexity of our modern routines.
Right. We see phrases like asking for almond milk or sugar-free option.
Because dietary restrictions are real.
Exactly. The curriculum recognizes that dietary preferences are a core part of moving through modern society. It also includes asking for free Wi-Fi.
Which is basically a survival need at this point.
Honestly, yeah. Digital connectivity is just as vital as caloric energy for a newcomer trying to navigate a new city.
And the post office vocabulary reflects that same kind of modern complexity. The sentences they provide include things like, I'd like to track my package, please, and I need to send this as a registered letter.
It's giving you the linguistic architecture to manage a global, interconnected logistical system.
Exactly. A learner using these sentences isn't just a passive tourist anymore. They are actively managing their own affairs.
But the stakes get even higher when the curriculum moves into the driving and pharmacy sections, right? This is where the vocabulary shifts from daily convenience to critical safety and health.
Because autonomy is ultimately about safety. In the driving section, the learner shadows phrases about checking tire pressure, navigating heavy traffic, and being able to explain a mechanical failure.
Which makes sense. I mean, if your car breaks down on a busy highway, knowing how to order a sugar-free latte isn't going to help you at all.
No, not at all. You need the specific vocabulary to resolve a dangerous situation.
And nothing embodies that need for safety more than the pharmacy category.
Oh, absolutely.
Asking a pharmacist, are there any side effects I should know about? Or confirming, is this safe to take with food? These are non-negotiable survival skills.
And notice the glaring absence of cliché beginner phrases here.
Oh yeah, there are no sentences about the weather.
No asking for directions to a monument, none of that. This curriculum is designed to give you immediate agency. If you can understand your medication side effects and handle a broken down car, you aren't just visiting a culture. You are surviving in it.
Securing that physical baseline like food, transportation, health, that's a prerequisite for the next stage of human integration.
It's basically Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
It applies to language learning just as much as it applies to psychology. Once a learner has secured their safety and autonomy, a profound shift happens in the source material.
Because surviving the physical world only keeps you alive.
Right.
Doesn't mean you actually live in that culture.
Right, exactly.
Halfway through these 99 sentences, the curriculum makes this massive pivot from physical survival to emotional and societal participation.
The vocabulary expands into the trickiest parts of the human experience.
The next 4 categories are just a massive leap from surviving to thriving. The learner is asked to shadow sentences about dating and relationships, volunteering and charity, news and current events, and personal finance.
I mean, anyone who has ever tried to date or even just make a close friend in a second language knows how deeply frustrating this transition is.
It's agonizing.
Yeah.
You're an adult with complex thoughts, nuanced humor, deep emotions, but your vocabulary forces you to sound like a toddler.
Yeah, you're trapped trying to be charming and vulnerable using only the present tense.
It's the worst. But the curriculum actually attacks that frustration head on. The dating and relationship section maps out the entire chronological progression of human intimacy.
It really does. It gives the learner the tools to initiate a connection with, would you like to go out sometime?
It's a classic.
And then it moves into establishing shared history and commitment with phrases like, we're planning to move in together.
It even provides the vocabulary to articulate the abstract values underlying those milestones.
Yeah.
Like the learner is shadowing sentences such as, trust is the foundation of any relationship.
Which is a massive cognitive leap from asking where the post office is.
Huge.
Mm.
You are now using the new language to define your personal philosophy on human connection.
And that expansion of identity continues directly into the volunteering and charity category. The focus widens from just the self and the partner out to the broader community.
Right. The shadowing exercises include things like, we're collecting donations for the flood victims, and this really expressive statement, helping others brings me a lot of joy.
It equips the learner to transition from being just a consumer in a society to being an active, contributing citizen.
Which naturally bleeds right into the news and current events section.
Oh, the water cooler talk.
Exactly. Participating in the water cooler talk of a society is a huge marker of fluency. The curriculum has them practice mentioning today's headlines. But what really stands out to me is how it teaches the mechanics of navigating the information age itself.
Yeah, the selected phrases for discussing the news are intensely analytical. The learner practices saying, it's important to check multiple sources, and acknowledging that's a really controversial topic.
And that specific phrase, that's a really controversial topic, is just a brilliant piece of linguistic armor.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, navigating controversial topics in your native language is already a minefield. Doing it in a second language, that's terrifying.
And what's great is the source material remains entirely politically neutral here. It doesn't instruct the learner on left-wing or right-wing ideologies at all.
We should be clear about that for the listeners, too. We aren't endorsing any specific political viewpoint here. We're just conveying the ideas from the source.
Right. Absolutely. The curriculum just provides the sophisticated vocabulary needed to calmly de-escalate a conversation.
Yeah, being able to look at someone and smoothly say, that's a really controversial topic, it's important to check multiple sources, allows the learner to participate in civic discourse without accidentally starting a screaming match because they used the wrong adjective.
It demonstrates such a high level of social intelligence.
It really does.
And the final category in this societal jump reinforces that expectation of adult responsibility. The personal finance section tackles the often taboo subject of money management.
Right, it moves way past the transactional baseline we saw earlier. We aren't just paying for coffee anymore. We are discussing long-term security.
The learner shadows sentences about building an emergency fund, making the decision to track their spending, and internalizing the financial principle that small savings really add up over time.
Discussing personal finance requires a high degree of vulnerability and cultural fluency.
True fluency is the ability to project your identity, your responsibilities, and your boundaries into a new culture. But, we really have to acknowledge the staggering cognitive load this places on the learner.
Seriously. Navigating romantic trust, civic duty, media literacy, and financial planning in a second language, it's exhausting.
Completely exhausting. And the curriculum designers know they are pushing the learner to the breaking point. The source material explicitly warns learners that these abstract topics, particularly relationships and personal finance, might feel tricky.
Tricky is an understatement.
Yeah, they are fully aware of the friction they are creating. Day 11 of a 30-day challenge is usually the danger zone, where the novelty is worn off, the sheer volume of vocabulary becomes crushing, and your brain starts actively looking for reasons to quit.
So how do they keep people from quitting?
Well, the response to that inevitable friction is found in the 9th and final category of the transcript, and it is arguably the most structurally brilliant element of the entire document.
The final topic is motivation and encouragement.
Yes.
The sentences in this section include phrases like, mistakes are just part of learning. Every small step counts. Tomorrow is another chance to improve.
They are classic phrases of affirmation. And on the surface, it seems like the curriculum is simply teaching the learner the vocabulary needed to comfort a struggling friend, or maybe a colleague.
Right. But when you apply the physical methodology from the beginning of the challenge to this specific vocabulary, it turns into a psychological Trojan horse.
I completely agree.
Because the learner is using the shadowing method. They are required to listen to these phrases and repeat them out loud, mimicking the rhythm and conviction of the native speaker.
They are so focused on the mechanics of getting their tongue and jaw to form the English syllables correctly that their affective filter just drops.
Their defenses are down.
And while their defenses are down, they are hearing their own physical voice speak words of profound encouragement.
It's wild to think about.
They are literally standing in a room, vocalizing the words, "Mistakes are just part of learning, and every small step counts."
They're tricking the learner into giving themselves a motivational pep talk.
Exactly. It is the integration of cognitive behavioral therapy directly into a linguistic exercise.
Wow, yeah.
The core principle of CBT involves identifying negative thought patterns, such as the urge to quit because the grammar is too difficult, and consciously replacing them with rational, affirming thoughts.
So by forcing the learner to physically speak these affirmations in the target language, they are rewriting their internal monologue.
The physical act of speaking the language becomes the very mechanism that provides the psychological resilience to continue speaking the language.
It is a perfectly closed loop. You are getting your grammar and pronunciation practice while simultaneously rewiring your brain to reject the urge to quit the challenge.
The design recognizes that combating the friction of the learning process is just as crucial as the curriculum itself.
Because without that psychological reinforcement, the 99 sentences are just a list.
But with it, the list becomes a sustainable daily practice.
Which kind of circles us all the way back to the core mission of this deep dive. Mastering an overwhelming amount of new information demands physical repetition.
You have to train the muscle memory of your vocal cords, normalizing the struggle and the stumbles along the way.
Your mouth truly does have to work as hard as your ears.
And true comprehension requires building a very deliberate bridge.
Right, you establish your footing with the basic transactional needs, securing your health, your logistics, your physical safety.
And then from that secure baseline, you push forward into the complex, abstract territories of deep emotional connections, societal responsibilities, and civic participation.
And the source material leaves the learner with one final piece of actionable advice to make sure that bridge is actually built.
The homework.
The homework. The instructors assign a specific task. Try using at least 3 of these concepts in real life this week.
It doesn't have to be a debate on the economy either.
No, it can be as small as asking a barista for almond milk or looking at a friend and telling them every small step counts. You have to take the blueprint off the page, step out into the friction of the real world, and build the house.
Because knowledge that remains purely theoretical is entirely useless. It has to be applied to have value.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this exploration, we want to leave you with a thought to mull over, building on this idea of creating a survival kit for the modern human experience.
Yeah, think about this. If you had to distill the entire complexity of your own daily life into exactly 99 sentences, what categories would actually make the cut?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Would your list be as perfectly balanced between the gritty, practical demands of physical survival and the profound need for emotional connection as the one we explored today?
It definitely forces you to examine the words you use to build your own world. Keep practicing, keep shadowing, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.